Welcome, everybody. So good to have you with us. Chag Sameach. Thank you for joining us and celebrating Passover with us this evening. We're going to have a wonderful Seder tonight with music and participation from many of our congregants. There will be opportunities for those who don't yet have a part. There'll be a few places in the Seder. If anybody's interested, you can raise your digital hand, which at least if you're on a computer, is in your reactions on the very bottom. You hit that button and there's a raise hand button, and you can raise a digital hand. I can see it because I can't see all your faces otherwise at the same time. And we're going to get started with a Seder song, and it's up on your screen. We'll get started with Take Us Out of Egypt.
Hold on, Rabbi. I don't see it on my screen.
Oh, okay.
Let's see why that might be. Okay, there we go. To taste, oh, it's rush to the Red Sea. If we don't cross, it's a shame, for it's 10 plagues down and you're out in the pace of history. Gain one more time, take us out of Egypt, free us from slavery, make us some matzah in a haste. Don't worry about flavor, give to taste. Oh, it's rush to the Red Sea. We don't cross, it's a shame, for it's 10 plagues down and you're out in the place of history.
Thank you, Cantor Paul. Two quick things. You're the host right now. Do you have a closed caption option? It was requested. If you have it on the screen, it would be toward the bottom. And you would put enable automatic transcription if it's there. And there you go. Awesome, thank you. And number two, just so that you know, your guitar was a little over loud over your voice, so your own adjustment there. All right. So our Seder is made up of a whole bunch of parts. That's what the word Seder comes from. It is the order that takes place. And you can actually see the order there along the right-hand edge of the Haggadah. And so to get us started, we're going to sing through that order, starting with Kadesh, which is right there. And we're going to just kind of see the order of the Seder. The Seder actually begins with Kiddush. We'll have some things before that, like the lighting of our candles and things like that. But we're going to sing through the order before we move into our Passover. And I just want to take another moment to welcome everybody. I see faces I know very well, and I see new faces. And it just wonderful, warms my heart to have all of you here with us. So here we go, Kadesh Urchatz.
Kadesh Urchatz, Karpas Yachatz, Magid Rochsa, Motzi Matzah, Maror Korech, Shulchan Orech, Tzafon Barech, Hallel Nirtzah, Lai Lai, La La Lai, La La Lai, La La Lai, Yai, La La Lai, 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 Yai, lai, 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 ya, la, lai, lai, la, la, lai.
And all throughout the Seder, you'll sort of be able to see where we are by looking at where we are along that right-hand side of the page. So we are going to begin together. And we gather tonight to celebrate the liberation of the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt more than 3,000 years ago. Our ceremony is the Seder, a Hebrew word that means order. We read from the Haggadah, which means the telling. We tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt using symbols whose meanings we explore. These symbols are on our Seder table and on our Seder plate. By telling the story, oops, see, I got to remember to change the page, huh? Whoops, something just happened here. Sorry, hold on. There we go. There we go. By telling the story of freedom on Passover, and in Hebrew it's Pesach, we celebrate our Jewish history. The story of the Exodus, however, is not just a Jewish story. It is a story that embodies humanity's passion for justice and for freedom. Tonight, we celebrate the efforts of all people everywhere to free themselves and others from oppression. Our festival celebration is intended to be a source of inspiration and strength, to be drawn upon by each of us throughout the year as we strive to enhance our vigilance against injustice. It is our prayer that we may be inspired to take the steps necessary to free ourselves from the forces that limit hope and freedom. With grateful thanks, we welcome everyone to our Passover Seder. Tonight, we shall fill once again the Torah's instruction to remember the story of the Exodus from Egypt all the days of our lives, whether we have many Passover memories or we are experiencing our first Seder tonight. We joyously tell the story of the Exodus as one community. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, how good and beautiful it is for brothers and sisters to be with one another.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Oh, how good and how lovely when we are all together. Oh, how good and how lovely when we are all together. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Join me. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
So just a couple of notes. I know many of us have become Zoom pros over the course of this last year, but if you are not yet a Zoom pro, you can go back and forth between gallery view, where you can see lots of faces, and speaker view. On the upper right-hand corner of your screen, it says view. It's a little different if you're on a tablet, you have to slide from side to side. But if you're on a computer, it's there. The other thing that you can do is we have the shared, Haggadah shared, and you can drag that line to show to the side and make the Haggadah smaller and see more faces, or drag it the other way and make the Haggadah bigger and see people smaller. So you can adjust the size by dragging the Haggadah, the line between the Haggadah and the faces on the screen, and you can make them different sizes so that you can see more people if you don't care if you see the text, or you can see more text if you want to see it there along the way. So if you have candles where you are, I'm going to invite you to grab them and get ready to light them. You can actually light them right now. The lighting of candles in our home symbolizes lighting the lamps of our people, the spreading of light, joy, and the knowledge of God's ways. The spreading, we light and bless the festival candles tonight, marking the joy that Passover brings to our homes.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
On Pesach, we have 4 cups of wine or juice if you're not a wine drinker of wine or grape juice. I'm going to invite you to fill your first cup at this time. And then I'm going to invite our fearless leader, the president of Temple Beth Israel, to lead us to read the reading introducing Kiddush.
Thank you. The Kiddush cup that holds the wine is our symbol of joy. The wine poured into the cup is our hope for life's sweetness. Together, poured to the brim, the cup reminds us of the fullness of our days. During the Seder, we will drink 4 cups of wine. Each cup symbolizes a different aspect of Passover. With the first cup, we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians.
Thank you, Dina. And I'm going to take just a moment here to just acknowledge Dina's extraordinary leadership over this last year. Now, more than a year of leadership, but the last year of COVID especially, and helping to guide us through this time. So Passover is a time of gratitude as well. And I just wanted to express a little of that on certainly my behalf, and I know on behalf of so many within the congregation. Thank you, Dina. And now raise your glasses, and Cantor Paul will lead us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, v'romamanu mikol lashon, v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, moadim lesimcha, chagim uzmanim lesason, et yom chag hamatzot hazeh, zman cherutenu, mikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, moadei kodshecha v'simcha uv'sason inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim.
And now Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We thank the Holy One of Blessing for giving us life and sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this time. L'chaim.
Chaim.
So washing of hands has taken on new significance in this last year. We wash our hands. I don't know about you, but my hands are very dried and cracked, even though I put lotion on them about 10 times a day with all the hand washing that we've been doing. And in Jewish life, we've always washed hands for cleanliness, but also to elevate our spirit. Right before the priest offered sacrifices at the temple, their hands went through a ritual washing. And before we eat, we also elevate our hands. The blessing is actually all netilat yadayim. We don't do it now, but we'll do it in a little while, which is on the raising up of the hands, that the washing is actually a spiritual lifting of the hands. And so our first washing takes place right now. It's urchatz, it's the second step of the Seder, which is just a washing prior to karpas, prior to us eating the parsley. And so if you have a natla or anything, this is a little washing thing. You can pour a little over your hands at this time. At this point, there's no blessing said. We're going to do the blessing later in the service. And now we're going to begin to move to the symbols on our Seder plate. And so we have symbols on our plate, of course, and the purpose of the symbols is to help us tell our story and to help us to ask questions. On our Seder plate, we have a green vegetable, we have karpas. In my case, this is parsley from our garden. So we have our karpas. We have bitter herb, maror, horseradish. Actually, in this case, also from the garden, the horseradish we grew and the beets from the garden. We have a shank bone. Some people who are vegetarian or vegan sometimes use a beet, which is blood red color, in place of a shank bone. We have our roasted egg, which is here. We have our charoset, that's here as well. And some people have additional symbols on their Seder plate. Maybe symbols representing COVID this year, or symbols like an orange, which represent inclusivity of people of all different genders and gender expressions and sexual orientations, and those who have traditionally, and its meaning has expanded, those who have been traditionally excluded from Jewish life. Part of that was, if you read some of the original things, especially if you have an orange with seeds, you enjoy its sweetness, but you also have to kind of spit out the seeds of prejudice that remain within the tradition, right? So that we can be truly have the full sweetness of that. And so tonight, as we tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt, we'll explore the meaning of each of these symbols, as well as the significance of matzah and Miriam's cup and the cup of Elijah, which are on our Seder table. And so I'm going to ask now Marianne to read the next thing for us. So Marianne.
All right. Tonight, we praise God once again for creating the fruit of the earth, symbolized by the karpas, which is a green vegetable on our table. The first growth of spring. karpas represents rebirth and renewal. In the spirit of Passover, before we eat, we dip the karpas in salt water. We do so to remind ourselves of the tears shed by our ancestors while enslaved in Egypt.
Thank you, Marianne. And now we are going to say our blessing over our karpas, which ends with Borei Pri Hadama. It's the fruit of the earth. And then we will dip our parsley in salt water and eat of our parsley. So here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah.
Take a moment for your parsley and your salt water if you have it there. Eat a little of that.
My breath feels so fresh.
So now we're going to continue with Beitza, and I'm going to call on Mikey.
Paige would be fun here.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Hold on, I'm having a computer issue here. All right, here we go.
Okay. Even before the exodus from Egypt, Jews celebrated the creation of life each spring. The egg, like parsley, symbolizes the beginning and renewal of life. Round, without beginning or end, it also represents the cycles of the year and the cycles of life.
Thank you, Mikey. And as Mikey did, please, I'm juggling a paper and two computers today to get this all working. So if I forget to turn the page at some point, please tell me so that I don't leave all you guys behind. So thank you, Mikey, for keeping me on track. And I'm now going to turn the page. Whoops, it turned two. And I'm going to call on Simon and Yvonne.
Okay. We have on a plate on our table 3 pieces of matzah. Matzah is unleavened bread, bread that has not had time to rise or leaven. It is the food we ate during our exodus from Egypt. As the Torah teaches, they baked unleavened cakes of the dough that they had taken out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, since they had been driven out of Egypt and could not be laid. The three pieces of matzah are a reminder to us of God's covenant with the patriarchs and matriarchs of the Jewish people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah.
Thank you, Simon and Yvonne. So now we break the middle matzah in half. The bigger half, I broke it almost exactly in half. That never happens, but the bigger half is hidden to be recovered later as our afikomen. It is our after the meal. Young people, if we have them, I know we're more isolated than we often are, so we may not have young people where we are, but we did hide a afikomen in our house, even though our youngest is 15. We have one hidden here. The search for the afikomen reminds us that it is the memory of the freedoms that have been lost that inspires each generation to continue the pursuit of liberty, tolerance, and justice. This, halach ma'anya, this is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. All who are hungry, come let them eat. All who are in need, let them come celebrate Passover with us. May it be God's will to redeem us from all trouble and all servitude. Next year at this season, may the whole house of Israel and all peoples free. And I'm going to call upon Janine and Stuart Mann to read this page and the following page.
Chag Sameach.
Chag
To our
Sameach.
plate that held 3 pieces of matzah, we now return the second half of the middle matzah. For the oppressed is a symbol of hope. For free persons is a symbol of the responsibilities of freedom.
The story of the Exodus has brought hope to many peoples as they faced their own struggle for freedom. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in the speeches, rallies, and marches of the American Civil Rights Movement, explicitly invoked the story of the Exodus.
Disappeared.
Next page.
The Exodus is something of the story of every people struggling for freedom. It is the first story of man's explicit quest for freedom, and it demonstrates the stages that seem to be inevitably follow the quest for freedom.
This is the power of the story of the Exodus. It is both a historical story and a contemporary symbol of hope.
We're missing up here.
And so our next part of our Seder is the 4 questions. And we'll chant through them together. We're not going to put any young children on the spot on Zoom where they can't sing with other kids, but we'll sing the 4 questions together. And then afterwards, as we answer those questions, we have some different folks who are going to help us with that as we answer our 4 questions. So Manish Chana, here we go.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה. הלילה הזה כולו מצה, הלילה הזה כולו מצה, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מפילים אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים, הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובים, בין יושבים ובין מסובים. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים, הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים.
So while we call them the 4 questions, and depending on how they are punctuated, they look like 4 questions. I actually think in many ways, it's actually one large question, which is why is this night different from all other nights? And then we kind of have partial answers to those questions. On all other nights, we eat bread or matzah. On this night, only matzah. On all other nights, all kind of herbs, but on this night, bitter herbs. On all other nights, we don't dip our herbs in condiments. Why on this night do we dip them twice? On all other nights, we eat either sitting upright or reclining. On this night, we recline. And now, as we move into our next section, we will begin answering our questions in just a moment, because we celebrate tonight because we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, and God delivered us from bondage to freedom. Had our ancestors not been redeemed from Egyptian slavery, we, our children, and our children's children would have remained slaves. Even if all of us were wise and educated by our study of Torah, it would still be our responsibility each year to tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt, to dwell at length on the remembrance of our exodus from Egypt on Passover is considered praiseworthy. And so we now have a song whose words are very simple. Avadim hayinu le Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim ve'yotzienu Adonai mishem yad chazaka. And we're going to sing Avadim hayinu, but those aren't the words here. The words for the song are just Avadim hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin. That's it. Avadim hayinu, we were slaves. Ata b'nei chorin, now we are free.
Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin, again. Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin, Avadim haynu, Ata b'nei chorin,
I'm going to call upon the Immerman family. Are you guys there? Can't see everybody.
Hello.
We're here.
We're here.
Oh, great. So they're going to help lead us in a piece of this, answering some of the 4 questions here. So whoever's going to read first, go ahead.
Okay.
Jonathan, you're up.
Matzah symbolizes both slavery and freedom. Matzah is our bread of affliction. It is a symbol of our rush to freedom, the food we ate when liberated from Egyptian bondage. When our ancestors rushed to leave Egypt, they did not have time to wait for their bread to leaven. During Passover, we eat matzah to remind us of our enslavement in Egypt and the divine help we received during our exodus.
Thank you so much. Who's going to read the next one there?
All right, Alex and I are going to do this together. Ready?
Okay.
Bitter herbs, maror, represent the
the
bitterness
bitterness
of slavery. We eat bitter herbs later in our Seder ceremony so that we will never forget the bitter taste of oppression.
Oh, thank you so much.
You want me to do this? Yeah. Okay. Karpas is a symbol of renewed hope and the promise of spring. We dip karpas in salt water as a reminder that our ancestors viewed the hope of renewal through the tears of slavery. Later in our Seder, we shall combine maror and charoset. Maror is dipped or mixed with charoset to remind us that we withstood the bitterness of slavery because it was sweetened by the hope of freedom.
Thank you so much, the Immerman family. Wonderful. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to call on Christy Teague to lead us now. Christy, are you here? Maybe not. Somebody else want to lead us here on this page? Oh, just go ahead, Art.
Pillow on our chair is a symbol of freedom. Historically, slaves sat on hard benches or on the floor when they ate, forced to rush through their meal in order to return to work. For our ancestors, reclining on pillows or couches, eating at leisure, and engaging in conversation were symbols of freedom. Our pillows symbolize our ability to recline as free persons, declaring to the world that we will not be enslaved.
Thank you so much. So 4 is a number that repeats in our Seder. We have, the Seder was again created as a way to help teach the story, to help us tell the story each year. And so repetition it's helpful. We remember that there are 4 questions. There are 4 children. And so now we're going to move into the 4 children piece of the Seder. According to tradition, there are 4 types of children. Turning the page, the wise one, the chacham, the wicked one, the rasha, the simple one, the tam, and the one who is unable to inquire or does not know what questions to ask, she'eno yodea lishol. By answering the questions of all of our children, we begin to fulfill our responsibility to pass to a new generation the story of God's mercy and might and our hope for the future. So I'm going to turn the next couple of pieces over to the Tannenbaum family. You guys here?
Sorry. Yes, we're here.
No?
Yes, we're here.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yes, there you are. All right. So great. Terrific. So we'll continue now with the wise one ask. Here we go.
The wise one asks, what are the rulings, the laws, and the traditions that God has commanded to us? Our children are searching for wisdom and knowledge from the Seder experience. It is our obligation to help them gain a deeper understanding of God's teachings through the story of Exodus and strengthen their commitment to the pursuit of freedom, tolerance, and justice.
Thank you, Arlo.
The wicked one inquires, what is this service to you? By saying to you and not to us, our children are distancing themselves from their community. It is our obligation to make the Seder a source of discovery for the spiritual foundation of Judaism and to help them to strengthen the bonds, connecting them to their family and to their community.
Thank you, David.
The simple one asks, what is this? Our children are seeking to better understand the story of the Exodus and the importance of the Seder. It is our obligation to help them make the Seder an inspirational introduction to the study of the Jewish people's struggle for freedom through the generation.
Great. Thank you, Judy. Do we have somebody who'd like to read this next thing that's up on our page? Just let me know if you didn't sign up to read and you'd like to read. I wanted to give some opportunities. So,
well, Rabbi, I'll read it because I think you asked me to read it.
Oh, great. Go, Jeff.
The one unable to ask. For our sons and daughters who are unable to inquire or do not know what questions to ask, we begin. You shall explain to your child on that day, it is because of what God did for me when I went free from Egypt. Next page. It is our obligation to help our sons and daughters become involved in the joyful experience of the Seder so that they may begin to feel a part of the Passover story of freedom and discover what questions they wish to ask.
Thank you, Jeff. I do have a couple of spots here that I purposely left open, and I forgot that I filled Jeff with that one when he registered. So, but I do have a couple of others. If there are people who haven't been assigned a part and would like something, we have this next reading. That's the one who was wise. Just jump in if you'd like. Otherwise, I hit my thing. Otherwise, I'll read it. But if you don't want, all right. The one who was wise, wicked. I'll get you next, Sharon. The one who is wise, wicked, simple, and does not know what questions to ask resides within each one of us. By fulfilling our obligations for the Seder, we learn more about ourselves and each other and make the story of Passover our own. And so Sharon, will you read the English on this next page? Unmute yourself first.
This is God's promise to our ancestors and to us. Although one individual stands against us to destroy us, another stands with us in difficult times. In every generation, when some are blinded by hate, others build bridges of understanding. The Holy One, our source of help, sustains us.
Thank you, Sharon. And as Sharon did, if anybody wants to get called on for an upcoming reading or might be willing, just raise your digital hand, and we will move forward. So, Lisa, I think I have you for an upcoming reading, don't I? Let's go with the Raskins here. Go ahead.
You want to read about
Hold on. I lost a page here. There we go.
The Passover story of
deliverance
and redemption that we now recount has provided a shared sense of experience to the Jewish people for 3,000 years. Retold each year at our Seder, the biblical story continues to
sustain
and enrich our collective spirit.
Very good.
Thank you, Becca. Good. Thank you, Becca. Great job. All right. The Torah tells us that when harsh famine engulfed the land of Canaan, our forefather Jacob and his household went down into Egypt. Joseph, one of Jacob's sons, was already in Egypt. Joseph had helped Pharaoh eliminate the threat of famine during 7 years of plentiful harvest. He was favored by Pharaoh, had risen high in the Egyptian court, and was able to provide possessions and security to his father and brothers. Jacob, Joseph, and their families, at first strangers in the land, came to feel at home in Egypt. After the famine was over in Canaan and it was possible to return to their homes, they remained, trusting that the memory of Joseph and their contributions would keep them secure in Egypt. Joseph, turn the page here. Joseph and all that generation died, and the generations of Jacob and Joseph were fruitful and had multiplied. And a new Pharaoh arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph or the contributions that he and his household had made to Egyptian society over the generations. And Pharaoh said, "The people of the children of Israel are too many and too mighty for us. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest it come to pass that when we are at war, they join themselves unto our enemies and fight against us. Our ancestors were then forcibly enslaved. The Egyptians set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens and to build for Egyptian leaders royal cities and monuments. And so Pharaoh commanded the death of all sons born to our ancestors enslaved in Egypt. But Shiphrah and Puah, the midwives present at the births, refused to obey Pharaoh and did not distinguish between sons and daughters. When one Israelite woman gave birth to a son, she hid him from the Egyptians. After he grew too old to hide, she put him in a basket and placed it among the reeds in the Nile. His older sister hid nearby to see what would happen to her brother. When Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in the river, she found the baby in the basket. The baby's sister offered to find her an Israelite woman to nurse the baby. The woman she brought was the baby's own mother. When he grew older, his mother returned the baby to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him. She named him Moshe, Moses, meaning I drew him out of the water and raised him in Pharaoh's court. Moses was adopted by the Egyptian royal family and grew to manhood as a prince of Egypt. When he was grown, he saw an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Jewish slave. Moses killed the taskmaster and was forced to leave Egypt, fleeing to the land of Midian. At an oasis, Moses came upon the daughters of Jethro, a Midianite priest, as they were drawing water from a well. Moses protected the women from a band of bullying shepherds. After the daughters told their father what happened, he invited Moses to their home and soon offered Zipporah, his oldest daughter, to Moses as a wife. God heard the cries of our ancestors in bondage in Egypt. One day, while Moses was tending Jethro's flock, God appeared to Moses through a burning bush, a bush that burned but miraculously was not consumed. God commanded Moses to return to Egypt and to tell Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery and oppression. On the journey, danger to Moses and his family was averted by the bravery and quick thinking of his wife, Zipporah. In Egypt, Moses spoke the word of God to Pharaoh, saying, "Let my people go, shalach et ami." When Pharaoh refused to release our ancestors from slavery, God afflicted the people in the land of Egypt with 10 plagues, each one worse than the one before. It was only after the 10th plague, the slaying of the firstborn, that Pharaoh yielded and allowed us to begin our departure from Egypt. And we're now going to sing a little When Israel Was in Egypt land.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Thus saith the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll strike your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. The Lord told Moses what to do. Let my people go, to lead the children of Israel through. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. When they reach the other shore, let my people go. They sang a song of triumph for, let my people go. Everybody now, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go.
After his decision, Pharaoh had a change of heart and mobilized his army. As our ancestors approached the shores of the Red Sea 7 days after our exodus from Egypt, they saw the Egyptian army pursuing them and were filled with fear. Unless we were able to cross the sea, Pharaoh would destroy us. God, however, did not at first part the waters for our passage on dry land. The Midrash, which is a commentary that explains biblical texts, teaches that it was only after one man, Nachshon ben Aminadav, acting with the courage of a free person and ready to take the ultimate risk for freedom, walked into the undivided waters of the Red Sea that God parted the waters. When the Egyptians pursued us into the sea, God saved us by causing the sea to close in on the Egyptians, drowning them. And God brought us forth from Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and with signs and wonders. And God commanded us to observe the Passover each year and to declare God's might and mercy to our children throughout all generations. Though our ancestors were redeemed from slavery, and we have rejoiced to see the oppressors overcome, our joys and triumphs are diminished by the suffering of others. Even as God saved us, God taught us not to rejoice at the suffering of other people. As the sea closed over the pursuing Egyptians, God declared, "My creatures are drowning, and you are singing." We now join together to recite each of the 10 plagues while removing a drop of wine from our cups. With this act, we lessen our joy, symbolically acknowledging the suffering of the Egyptians and envision ourselves casting out every plague that threatens our humanity. And we could think of lots of plagues this year, not only all the plagues caused by our pandemic in our world, the plagues of isolation and of depression and the plagues of darkness, in a sense. Of darkness was people were unable to see one another. We're thankful for Zoom that we can at least see each other this way. But lots of other plagues that have plagued our society for a long time. We sing "Let My People Go," and perhaps that song, which comes from an African-American spiritual, is even more appropriate this year as we've seen the fight for racial justice come to a more prominent place. We've seen during this pandemic, anti-Asian bigotry grow in our society. The gaps between the rich and the poor become even more stark, and so many other challenges that we face as a society. And Pesach is an opportunity for us to re-engage, to make a difference in the lives of our fellow human beings and in the lives of our country and our world. So hold on one second. I needed a little plate to put my wine drops on, and Cantor Paul will say the Hebrew. I'll repeat the English, and you can join in either at home with your button on mute. So however you want to do that as we move forward. All right. I'm going to put them up on the screen. There we go.
Dam,
blood,
Tzvardea,
frogs,
Kinim,
lice,
Arov,
wild beast,
Dever,
light,
Shchin,
boils,
Baran,
hail,
Arba,
locust,
Choshech,
darkness,
Malkat Bechorot,
slaying of the firstborn. And now we have a little song.
Well, and for those of you who don't know it, I invite you to sing along, especially on the chorus, because it's pretty easy. It's counting. And it's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Blood in the water made the river run red. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh should have listened to what Moses said. 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Frogs were jumping in the Pharaoh's hair. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh didn't like it, but the frogs didn't care. 10 plagues in Egypt. Count it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Creepy, crawly, itchy lice. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Mess with the Holy One, you better think twice. 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Filthy flies, so dirty and vile. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Not really Pharaoh's style. Now 10 plagues in Egypt land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Everybody get their best dying animal noises. In fact, we could briefly open up our audio. We can all make them together. The cattle and the horses and the oxen died.
Sounds like laughing, not like
10 plagues in Egypt land. I won't give up, old Pharaoh cried. 10 plagues in Egypt, mute it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Oh, are we gonna go to the next page? Oh, there it is. Boils and blisters on the skin. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Give it up, Pharaoh, never gonna win. 10 plagues in Egypt land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Okay, kids, get your best drumming out. Hail ran down from the heavens on high. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Hurt so much it made Pharaoh cry. 10 plagues in Egypt land. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Swarms of locusts ate the crops. What do they sound like when they eat the crops? Something like that. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Hard out at Pharaoh, he just wouldn't stop. 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Ooh, I feel that darkness descended in the light of day. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh was lost. He couldn't find his way. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Well, it's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. Lisa and Ben on special effects, thank you very much. Firstborn, the final blow. Finally, Pharaoh. Pharaoh let my people go. Oh, yes, he did. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt landed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land.
After crossing the Red Sea, our ancestors celebrated with song, praising the omnipotence of God. Tonight, we recite part of this Song of the Sea, giving thanks once again to God for our freedom and commemorating the splitting of the Red Sea. And of course, every time we have a morning or evening service, we include these words, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora teilo osei feleh. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
Going to invite Lisa Block to lead us. And I have here a cup, Miriam's cup on my table. I'll have Lisa Block lead us on the reading.
According to the rabbis, God honored Miriam's bravery and devotion to the Jewish people by giving her a well filled with water, which miraculously accompanied our ancestors throughout their journey in the desert. Miriam's well quenched the thirst and renewed the spirit of our ancestors as they overcame the hardships of the Exodus.
So we have a Miriam's cup, a kos Miriam, filled with water to honor Miriam's role, ensuring our people's survival during our 40-year journey in the desert. You can take a sip of water to remember the remarkable woman who was a prophet and guardian of our people. And now, Dayenu, and can you hand me one of those, Eli? So in the Persian tradition, when during Dayenu, people hit each other with leeks or scallions to remember the old taskmasters down in Egypt. If you have them, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll sing together Dayenu, and it's on your screen and in your book. Here we go.
Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu Hotzianu, Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu. Everybody now. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu Natan lanu et Hashabat, Natan Lanu et Hashaban Dainu. Everybody now. Dainu, 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 Dainu. Elu Natan Lanu, Natan Lanu et HaTorah, Natan Lanu et HaTorah, Dainu. Everybody now. Dainu, 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 Dainu.
I'm going to invite Lori Bohr to lead us.
Should enemies again rise against us, the remembrance of the Exodus from Egypt will never fail to inspire us with new courage and strengthen our faith in God, who redeems the oppressed. Exploring the meaning of the Passover symbols helps us to remember. Rabban Gamliel, one of Judaism's great scholars, taught that whoever does not discuss or expand upon the symbolic meaning of the Pesach, shankbone, matzah, and maror, bitter herbs, has not truly celebrated the Passover festival.
Thank you, Lori. Claudine?
What is the meaning of Pesach? The shank bone reminds us that God passed over our houses and spared us on the watch night. When Pharaoh refused to release us from slavery, God afflicted the people of Egypt with the 10th plague, the slaying of the firstborn. The doorposts of our houses were marked with lamb's blood so that God would pass over our homes and our lives would be spared. As God has saved us from all kinds of distress, so may God always inspire us with courage to remove every trace of bondage among all peoples.
Thank you, Claudine. Chuck and Candy. You're muted still, Candy. There you go.
What is the meaning of matzah? Matzah is unleavened bread that symbolizes both slavery and freedom. It is our bread of affliction and a symbol of the divine help we received when we were liberated from Egyptian bondage.
As God has saved us from all kinds of distress, so may God always inspire us with courage to remove every trace of bondage among all peoples.
Ruth.
What is the meaning of the maror? Maror is a bitter herb. It reminds us that the lives of our ancestors were made bitter from the oppression of Egyptian slavery. As God has blessed us with freedom, so may God always inspire us to be messengers of God's word to those in need of hope.
Thank you, Ruth. Hold on a sec. I lost a page. Hold on.
I'm muted.
No, you're not.
151. Okay. All right. You shall tell your child on that day, it is because what God did for me when I came forth out of Egypt. This passage in the book of Exodus is the inspiration for the most important words spoken during the Passover Seder. B'chol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ke'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, each person is bound to regard themselves as if they personally had come forth from Egypt. Mark or Cindy or both, whoever's going to read here.
The words we have spoken express the universal experiences we seek from our Seder. It is not each Jew who must feel as if he or she came forth out of Egypt, but each individual.
I am bound, therefore, to live my life as if God redeemed me from persecution, oppression, and slavery. As a beneficiary of the miracles that God performed, I discuss the rituals and symbols of Passover to bring the events from the Exodus into my daily life.
The beginning of the next page there, Mark and Cindy.
This is the power of our Seder and the story of the Exodus. It is a shared Jewish experience that has historical and contemporary significance to persons of all faiths. As we leave Egypt and carry the events of the Exodus into our daily lives, let us give thanks and offer praises to God for the miracles we have seen.
So you can lift your cups of wine. Thank you to Mark and Cindy Robinson for helping lead us there. Therefore, we are bound to thank, praise, laud, glorify, extol, honor, bless, exalt, and revere the eternal our God, who performed all these miracles for our mothers and fathers and for us. God brought us forth from slavery to freedom, from sorrow to joy, from mourning to festivity, and from servitude to redemption. Let us therefore sing a new song in God's presence. Hallelujah. And now we remember God's promise to our ancestors and in every generation as we get ready for our second cup. V'hotzeti etchem me'avodatam. V'hitzlati etchem me'avodatam. We drink the second cup to remember the survival of the Jewish people. We remember how enslaved in Egypt, we retained our belief in God, our faith and hope for the future, gave us the will to survive and ultimately the strength to pursue the freedom promised by God. And so we're now going to bless our second cup and then move into our blessings for our meal. And then we'll give you instruction on what's happening there. So Cantor Paul.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. So now take a piece of matzah, everyone. We're going to make 3 blessings. We're going to do, the first one is a regular blessing over bread. Matzah is a kind of bread. Then a special blessing because we're commanded to eat matzah at the Seder. So we have a special blessing. And then we'll have our blessing over maror, our bitter herb. So we'll have those 3 blessings and then we'll make our Hillel sandwich. And then we are going to take a break for dinner and we'll come back at 8 o'clock. We'll leave our Zoom open. You can keep your Zoom open if you want and just turn off your camera and your microphone. But we'll come back at 8 o'clock. We won't take rolls. So if any of you choose not to, it's okay too, if you take a more leisurely dinner, but we'd love to have you back. The concluding part of the Seder is pretty short, but it does allow us to conclude together and have a little music as well. So we're going to now move into Hamotzi. Oh, actually, before we do Hamotzi, sorry, we wash our hands a second time. So Cantor Paul, will you do that blessing?
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al natilat yadayim.
Thank you. And now we have our Hamotzi over our matzah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Now our special matzah blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
And grab a little bitter herb and we'll say the blessing over maror, and then you can make a Hillel sandwich, which is charoset and maror and matzah together. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu al achilat maror.
And now, time to eat. So we will be back in 40 minutes at 8 o'clock. We'll probably be back in 30 minutes just with some music that we'll share and some things like that. But we won't begin the Seder itself until 8 o'clock. So if you're on, you'll hear a little nice music coming on at about 30 minutes, and then we'll start at 8 o'clock. Chag Sameach, enjoy your dinner, and we will see you back in a little while.
B'tei Avon, see you soon.
I'm gonna put them over here on lower volume in case they decide to speak.
Oh, whoops.
Wait. Go on mute. What? You took us off mute.
אליהו התשבי, אליהו הגלעדי, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד. אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו הגלעדי, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד. משיח בן דוד, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, במהרה יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד.
Well, let me get rid of the little logo here. Hope everyone has enjoyed or is still enjoying a delicious dinner. We thought we'd just kind of ease into the second half of our Seder with a couple of songs. I'm going to share the lyrics up on the screen in just a second. And you're welcome to sing along. You are in your homes and muted, so we can't hear you. If you want to take the lead on any of these things, you know, you can text me at 909-575-7858. If you're on Facebook and heard that, forget it immediately, please. Okay, so here I'm going to share. So some of these you may be familiar with. Rabbi, assuming you're there, can you confirm you can see these? I can see them here. Oh, we have Ms. Maisel wants to sing along. First one on the top of the page. Here we go. Let's practice the chorus first, okay? Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. Everybody got that? My dad at every Seder breaks a matzah piece in two and hides the afikomen in half, a game for me and you. Find it, hold it, ransom, for the Seder isn't through till the afikomen's gone. Everybody, don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. 1 year daddy hid it neath a pillow on a chair, but just as I raced over, my Aunt Sophie sat down there. She threw herself upon it, awful crunching filled the air, and the crumbs flew all around. Everybody, don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal's gonna last all night. There were matzah crumbs all over. Oh, it was a messy sight. We swept up all the pieces, though it took us half the night. So if you want your Seder ending sooner than dawn's light, you know what to do? Don't sit on the afikomen. Everybody, don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen. Don't sit on the afikomen, or the meal will last all night. Moving down a little bit. Let's see. Think I can blow this up a little for y'all? How is that? Hello, Mother, hello, Father. We all remember the great Alan Sherman. Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. Here we are with the Haggadah. All the family and their spouses have all come to eat matzah at our houses. It is Pesach, and we join hands now that Jews are in the promised land. God told Moses to leave Egypt. Now we are here together to rejoice it. The Haggadah has been read. Mother, Father, can we now be fed? Oh, Mother, Father, the Seder is almost complete. I want some food. I want to eat. Bring gefilte fish and the matzah, and please hurry. Please don't patchke. We are hungry. It is later. We are happy we're together for the Seder. And we are certainly happy that we are together with all of you for the Seder. I think we'll do one more. Another scroll down here. Widen it out a little bit. Let's see, what's a good key? Oh, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh, baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh, baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. A burning bush told me just the other day that I should go down to Egypt and say, it's time to let my people be free. Listen to God if you won't listen to me. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, me and my people going to the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army coming after me. I took my staff, stuck it in the sand, and all God's children walked out on dry land. I said, now Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now Pharaoh's army was a-coming too. So what y'all think that God did do? Had me take my staff and clear my throat, and all of Pharaoh's army did the dead man's float. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's the story of the stubborn goat. Pharaoh should have known the chariots don't float. The lesson is simple, it's easy to find. When God says go, y'all better mind. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Yeah, 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 yeah. I said, Pharaoh, Pharaoh, oh baby, let my people go. Take it away, Rabbi.
Thank you, Cantor Paul. Oop, let me remove your spotlight here. Thank you, Cantor Paul, for singing us out of our dinner. And those of you who are still eating or having dessert, feel free to keep doing that as we move to the end of our Seder, where you have to always balance rushing people too much and taking too long. So we'll do our best with that. As we move forward, I'm going to share the Haggadah with you again. And here we go. Can we find it or no? Okay, can I just have a piece of... All right, so we're going to move toward the conclusion of our Seder. Afikomen is the Hebrew word based on a Greek word meaning that which comes after the meal. When it is found and returned, the afikomen is distributed and eaten by those who are present. The afikomen is the last food to be eaten so that the taste of experience of the Seder will stay with us until we come together and celebrate again next year. We are going to just make a quick blessing after the meal. We do it over wine, so you fill your third glass if you have not done so yet. And we'll do a one-line Hebrew blessing and a one-page, less than a page English blessing. So let everybody grab a cup of wine. And I'll let Cantor lead us in the one line of Hebrew there, and then I'll pick up the English.
Baruch atah Adonai Hazan et Hakol.
We praise you, Holy One, source of food for all who live. Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, whose food we have eaten and through whose goodness we live. Blessed are you, Holy One, who provides food for all and sustains the entire world with goodness and kindness and mercy. O God, who sustains and protect us, be mindful of us today, as you have been to our ancestors, so that we may find life and peace as we celebrate the efforts of all people who seek justice and freedom. May the one who makes peace in the heavens let peace descend on us, on all of Israel and throughout the world. And let us say,
Amen.
Now we're going to bless our third cup. Now we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and great acts of judgment. As we drink this third cup of wine, we celebrate the holy bonds between family and friends and our sacred connection to all men, women, children, to all people of every religion, race, and creed. May the goodwill in each of us draw us closer to one another, strengthening the ties between us so that we may help each other through hard times, as well as joyously celebrate good times together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
So now we move toward Elijah. Elijah is a symbol of redemption. He represents justice and peace. In many households, people pass around Elijah's cup and everybody adds a little of their own wine to fill Elijah's cup as a symbol that the redemption that Elijah brings will take each of us to contribute and bring it about. We grant that, we ask God to grant that next year all people may live together in freedom and in peace. And so if you have a door nearby that can be opened, we will sing together. Hold on, there it is. Eliyahu Hanav.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hakiladi, Bimhera ve'yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
The next piece after Barech, which is the blessing that we did after the meal, is Hallel. And while we aren't going to do Hallel made up of lots of songs of praise mostly from the Psalms, we do have a reading here. And I'd like all of us in a moment to think about what are some of the blessings that you may be carrying with you at this time. We all know that this has been a very challenging year. Some of us have lost loved ones to COVID. Some have lost people who have died of other things, but haven't been able to be with them in the same way we would at another time. We've certainly all been isolated from one another. Our lives have been turned upside down and made more challenging. But I'd also like us to think about maybe some things we've discovered about ourselves or our lives or blessings that we found during this time. And I'll invite anybody who wants in a moment to share if there's something they'd like to share with everybody else. As a community, we give thanks for the teachings of the story of Passover, which we shall remember all the days of our lives, and for the symbols of Passover that inspire us to work for freedom for all. As a community, we give thanks to God for our deliverance from bondage in Egypt and from those who have sought to destroy us in every age, and for the reminder that in this world, God's work to create the Messianic age must truly be our own. As a community, we give thanks for the love of family and for the gift of our extended family of friends and neighbors, and for the experience of this Passover Seder that brings us closer to God, to our families, and to one another. And so, if anybody has a something that they'd like to share, some piece of blessing or gratitude that they have that you'd like to share, I invite you to do so, to either just unmute yourself and join in, or to raise a digital hand, whichever you would prefer. And I will
would like to say something.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Okay, this is an opportunity for me to thank a big thank you to all of you who has been supporting us. And it does help, emotionally. We're going through hard times, but look at the TBI community, also TBI Temple Shalom community came very well and taking care of us. So from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. And our hearts continue to be with you, and the support of, and we'll continue to be helping reach out to you guys in the days to come.
Thank you.
I know that for me, I'm thankful for having had a lot of time with family over this year, and to be able to spend time that we wouldn't have had together. And as a community, as a Temple Beth Israel community, I'm incredibly grateful for all of the people who have stepped forth to make things happen and to support our community with their energy and their efforts and their money, all the things that have kept us going and enabled us to be present in the lives of so many this year. Are there others who have things they'd like to share?
Rabbi, I'd like to speak if I could.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
As many of you know, I was at death's door from COVID in an induced coma for 8 days, and a month in hospital and nursing care, and 2 months now recovering. I would like to thank Temple Beth Israel. The number of people who have gone out of their way for me has been quite remarkable. It's a long list of names, starting with Dina Benjamin and Yvonne and Lori Boer and Candy Fisher, who checked on my health every day, and many more people. So there is a silver lining. We are surrounded at Temple Beth Israel by remarkable people, and I thank them.
Thank you, Marilyn. And we're so happy that you're doing so well, and wish you continued healing in the days ahead. Other folks? Oh, Dina, you have a hand up.
I do. I echo everything that Marilyn said, and I also want to mention that the lay leadership of the congregation really stepped up this year and just shined with all of the time and the energy they gave to bring people together, from our challah team to our matzo ball soups to our soup deliveries to checking in on one another and those who were sick. So I am truly grateful for the leadership, and of course, truly grateful for our clergy for leading us through this time.
Thank you, Dina. And as I said, we're truly grateful for you as well. Anybody else who'd like to share anything at this time?
Rabbi?
Yes.
I, of course, echo your sentiments about how wonderful it's been to be close to family, about our incredible leadership and how they have stepped up to just be present for us in a really remarkable way. But I also want to reach out and thank the anonymous technologists who have
gifted us with these tools that we have been able to use over the past year plus to stay connected, to stay virtually integrated with each other as a community, to continue to basically follow, if not even enhance, our liturgical calendar. I mean, even this morning for our Passover morning service, you know, we certainly had a significant number greater who were able to participate and join us than we were used to coming to the sanctuary. So I look forward to being able to continue to use these tools as we reintegrate physically. And I'm just grateful for so many things, you know, my wife, my kids, my puppies, and you know, even though there have been challenges over this past year, at least in our family, there have also been very tangible blessings as well. And very, very, very grateful that we could be part of this TBI community and be of service, but also just be part of.
Thank you, Cantor Paul. Candy and Chuck.
Just so grateful from the very beginning. Rabbi and Cantor were both there every single night from the beginning of the shutdown, and the comfort that you brought and the leadership and the direction was really, really meaningful to all of us and to all the friends in the community. We're very thankful for so many people that we know and love at Temple Beth Israel.
Thank you, Candy. Diane, Victor.
Besides my family and friends, Ron and Simon, it never occurred to me. I grew up modern Orthodox most of my life, and never did I ever think that a shul was part of a community that I would be part of. I had no idea that it could be like this. And I just want to thank everybody at TBI who has reached out, whether in person or on the telephone, not just the challahs and things that appear at the door by an angel, but it's not something, it's so foreign to the Orthodoxy. And I don't mean this, you know, in a negative way. It's just completely different from the way I grew up in England. And I'm so grateful to all of you who have included us like family. It really has been a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Yvonne and Simon. I can't see you. There you go.
My laptop, so it's a bit tricky. But anyway, good evening to everybody. And I'd just like to reiterate and more kudos to the rabbi and the cantor. They have just pulled us through this year. Many people may have been getting very despondent that they weren't allowed to be. And the special little Monday and Wednesday services that we have, and we've become close with the children. We almost look at them as grandchildren when we haven't been able to see our own grandchildren, and we see them twice a week. They're just lovely children. And I'd also like to thank a special person who's sitting next to me, Simon, who, as you know, has done a lot for the temple. And he's a just outstanding person to be with. And we kind of support each other, but he, when I walked into the temple 18 years ago and saw this young man, that was wonderful for me and my family. So I thank you very much, Simon. And thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Christy Teague.
Chag Sameach.
Chag
I finally
Sameach.
made it. I finally made it onto the Zoom link. So I want to echo what a lot of people have already said here. This community is incredible, and I love how many people support a lot of people in this community. And I especially want to thank the women of TBI who over this past year have been a great support to me. We've all had a really tough year, and I've had some special challenges myself, and I've made some really good friends. And without them this year, I don't know, they've been there for me. So I'm very, very grateful. And I look forward to continuing more friendship and bonding, and, you know, look forward to in-person gatherings and adventures, and, you know, can't wait to see what the future holds. So I'm very, very grateful to TBI and everything that's come from TBI, especially women of TBI. So thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Marianne?
Hello, everybody. I just want to say how grateful I am for this year. Even we've been very busy at work throughout. We've been working, but thank God that at least we're getting the vaccine. My husband Joe already got his, so I'm going to get mine next week. And we actually lost a lot of family and friends, especially this year to COVID. I just lost my godfather on Tuesday, and his burial is taking place today in Africa. But I'm so grateful to have had a chance to talk to him, and I'm so grateful that my parents managed to get their vaccine, so at least that is at least taken care of. But I would like to say thank you to Dina and Candy for always being there for me and checking on me. And though we don't meet, but I know TBI is holding our backs for each and every one of us. And it's been good to be with the TBI women's group, made many friends. And thank you so much, Rabbi and Kenta, for all the services. It's been keeping me going, and hope to see you guys very soon.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Chuck and Candy, is your hand still up from before, or is that a new hand?
Yes, I just haven't removed it.
I didn't do it. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right. So we are going to, I'm going to share my screen. I moved it because all these people were sharing so beautifully and it was sort of in the way. So I'm going to share once again. And let's see where we go here. And now it's time for our fourth glass. So I'm going to ask people to raise their cup. Now we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God. We dedicate the fourth cup of wine to shalom, to peace. May the one who broke Pharaoh's yoke forever shatter all fetters of oppression and hasten the day when swords shall at last be turned into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim.
Chaim. Tonight we have given thanks to God by saying a blessing over 4 cups of wine as we have celebrated the sanctity of every life, the survival of the Jewish people, the holiness of our bond to every family member, and the meaning of shalom, peace. May this Seder provide us with new spirit and energy in the year ahead as we strive to meet the challenges of life's sweetness. May all people soon know freedom and peace. So we're not going to have an extended post Seder piece here, but you'll see on your screen Who Knows One. And in Hebrew, it's called Echad Mi Yodea. The custom, at least in my family, is to do these in one breath. I'll be happy to do 13, which is the last one. Who knows 13? I can do that in one breath. I'm pretty full of hot air, so to speak. So I'm happy to do that. And I'm going to look for people who are just willing to, take a verse and do it with one breath. It's easy at the beginning. It gets harder as we get to, past the first page, past the 6, and we get into 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we'll start with Who Knows One. Who knows one?
Benjamin's going to volunteer.
All right, here we go.
Come on over here. Let me do it in Hebrew first, just the first verse. Echad mi yodea, echad ani yodea.
Who knows one? I know one. One is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows two? I need a two.
Okay, I'll do two.
Go.
Echad mi yodea, okay, sorry, got two. Shna'im mi yodea, Shna'im ani yodea, Shnei luchot habrית, Echad Eloheinu, 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 בשמיים ובארץ.
Toda rabba Yitzchak. All right, Mans, who knows three?
Me.
Yep.
Who knows three? I know three. Three are the patriarchs. Two are the tablets of the covenant. One is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows four? Dina.
Who knows four? I know four. Four are the matriarchs, three are the patriarchs, two are the tablets of the covenant, one is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows five, Al Shapiro?
Who knows five? I know five. Five are the books of the Torah. Four are the matriarchs. Three are the patriarchs. Two are the tablets of the covenant. One is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Diane, did you change your mind? You had a hand up and then it went down. I don't know. You're muted. It's okay. I'll go.
No, that's okay. I'll try 6.
Okay. Who knows 6?
Who knows 6? I know 6. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows 7? Do you want to, is there somebody in the Raskin household who wanted to do 7?
Yeah, can I do it in Hebrew?
Sure.
Shiva mi yodea, Shiva ani yodea, Shiva yemei shabta, Shisha sidrei Mishnah, Chamisha chumshei Torah, Arba imahot, Shlosha avot, Shnei luchot habrית, Echad Eloheinu, 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 שבשמיים ובארץ.
Wow.
Yashikach. All right. Who knows 8? Lois. Unmute yourself. Go ahead.
5 are the books of the Torah, 4 are the matriarchs, 3 are the patriarchs, the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shem b'shamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows 9? Do we have anyone? With no digital hand up this time. Do we have a volunteer for 9? All right, Ruth. Unmute yourself. There we go.
Who knows 9? I know 9. 9 are the months of pregnancy. 8 are the days until circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shem b'shamayim uva'aretz.
Sorry, I was having trouble with the screen for a minute. Who knows 10? And I see a Benjamin hand up there.
I know 10. 10 are the commandments, 9 are the months of pregnancy, 8 are the days until circumcision, 7 are the days of the week, 6 are the orders of the Mishnah, 5 are the books of the Torah, 4 are the matriarchs, 3 are the patriarchs, 2 are the tablets of the covenant, 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Sheba Shamayim uva'aretz.
All right. Who knows 12? Anyone? Any takers for 12?
I'll do 13.
I was taking 13. I like to bat clean up. So if somebody wants to take 12.
I'll do 12.
Okay, go ahead.
12 אני יודע, 12 אני יודע, 12 שבטיה, 11 כוכביה, 10 דבריה, 9 ירחי לידה, 8 ימי מילה, 7 ימי שבתא, 6 סדרי משנה, 5 חומשי תורה, 4 אמהות, 3 אבות, 2 לוחות הברית, אחד אלוהינו, 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 שבשמיים ובארץ. Thank you.
Thank you. This version only does 12, but there is a 13th, which is attributes of God. So I'll take that. So here we go. Who knows 13? I know 13. 13 attributes of God, 12 tribes of Israel, 11 stars in Joseph's streams, 10 are the commandments, 9 are the months to pregnancy, 8 are the days until circumcision, 7 days are for the week, 6 days are the orders of the Mishnah, 5 are the books of the Torah, 4 are the matriarchs, 3 are the patriarchs, 2 are the tablets of the law. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shabbat Shamayim uva'aretz.
And there is 13 here. I couldn't get the page to turn, but hey, there we go. So there we go. All right. And let's just close with Adirhu, and then we will, we can do just parts of, let's go through Adirhu, and then we'll close with Lashana Haba Yerushalayim.
Adirhu, Adirhu, Yivne veto bekarov, Bimhera, Bimhera, V'amenu bekarov, El b'nei, b'nei beitach bekarov. Bachur hu, gadol hu, dagul hu, Yivne veto bekarov, Bimhera, Bimhera, V'amenu bekarov, El b'nei, b'nei beitach bekarov. There was 3 more in the bottom. Are we skipping them? Go back a page. Oops. There we go. Hadurhu, Vatiku, Zakaihu, Chasedhu, Ibne Beto Bekaro, Bimhera, Yamenu Bekaro, El Bene, Bene Betach Bekaro. Tahorhu, Yachidhu, Kabirhu, Lamudhu, Melechhu, Norahu, Sagivhu, Izuzhu, Prodehu, Tzadikhu, Ibne Beto Bekaro, Bimhera, Yamenu Bekaro, El Bene, Bene Betcha Bekaro. Kadoshu, Rachumhu, Shaddaihu, Takifhu, Ibne Beto Bekaro, Bimhera, Yamenu Bekaro, El Bene Betcha Bekaro.
Lishana Haba Yerushalayim is a statement really of hope. It is not just next year in Jerusalem, but Jerusalem as a symbol of a world redeemed, a world at peace, a world where all the struggles that we have now for equity and for justice, for the challenges of poverty and all the physical struggles of our world, that we've made a difference and we've moved beyond them. And so next year in Jerusalem is a hope that next year we're a little closer to the heavenly Jerusalem, the Jerusalem that signifies a world redeemed. And yes, and next year in person as well. Love to be with all of you. L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim.
L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim, 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 L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim.
L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim. Continue to have a meaningful and liberating Pesach. We'll see you all soon. Lihitraot.
Lihitraot.
Anybody wants to see the dogs? This is your last chance. And my children, and my wife and child. There's the mazel. There's the mazel.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. Chag Sameach.
Shavua Tov.
Say goodnight, Mazel.
Chag Sameach.
Thank you, my little Becca.